Good morning and welcome back to this week's episode of Coaches and Coffee. Good morning, Wizard and Professor.
Good morning.
I'm not saying anything anymore. We got to get 55 minutes down to like 38.
Oh, all right, so this could be a real short podcast. We're just going to have, brief responses. But first, I'll start off with an apology to our dedicated listeners. Mags.
Is this part of your monologue?
Nope, it's not. It's not part of that. But, he failed to get last week's episode up on YouTube because he forgot. Sucks getting old. But he will work on.
You were away on a recruiting trip, right?
Yeah.
Recruiting. Yep, exactly. It's called work.
Bag of cell phones and a bunch of cash.
Did you allow Megan to ride in the helicopter? Did she have to find her own transport over to Maine where you were recruiting last week?
Yeah, right. Yep. We took the convertible.
Nice.
Oh.
Yep.
The Ferrari.
That we don't own. Anyways, who wants to start with there?
I will start.
Yep, you always do, and you always have the best one. So let's
suck it. Anyways, I was milling around and I kept looking and thinking, and what am I going to talk about? Well, what I will say, in this week in history, Thomas Edison recorded the human voice for the first time in, I believe, 1877. And look where we've come. But what? I would urge everybody, find a record player, get some of them old vinyls, pull them out and listen to the Beatles, listen to the Eagles, anything, but pull those old vinyls out and play them.
They're making a comeback. They're making a comeback.
Well, yeah.
So.
Go ahead, Professor.
Professor, you're next.
Oh, all right. Well, I had something else, but that's pretty cool that you mentioned about where have we come, because apparently nowhere, because we can't edit this broadcast to make it work, right?
You know what? I'll look up Thomas Edison's phone number after. I'll see if
I was going to say, we could use Thomas Edison to help us out. I have a really dear friend that listens to our podcast that suggested that, and Mags has suggested this too from some of his listeners, that the Wizard and I need to get a microphone. I just want you guys to understand that we are not sitting in a sound studio. We're both like sitting somewhere in a recliner with our iPhones on, talking directly into them. So my dear friend who said we need to edit this and she's going to get me a microphone for the thing so it sounds better, doesn't realize that I don't think we actually care. But we're doing our best to try to give you guys something good. So what I'm going to do for my monologue is to say, for those of you who do care, the Wizard and I coached at a D4 level in New Hampshire, not like Mags at that D2 level, and we're just poor.
Right.
And, if you guys want to do some sponsorship and get us a microphone or show up and, this is stressful. Give us like a massage while we're doing this broadcast in the morning.
I don't want a massage.
Well, a nice shoulder massage. I get pretty tense sometimes when I hear the, Mags go on for 4 hours about how hard it is to coach at D2. So anyway, that's my monologue.
With a large slush fund.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's all I talk about is how hard it is to coach. You guys jumped off the ship sooner than I did. So
monologue.
Now here comes the monologue. So this might be more than a minute, but I was reading. No, I'm trying not to. But I was reading this article this week. So these organizations, companies in general, have been. I don't want to say are starting. Have been. They bring in new hires at a greater rate of pay than the people that already work for them and have worked for them. And so I was reading this, and I think it might have been on Indeed or something like that. And it's called salary compression, where the market outgrows the rate of salary increases on a yearly basis. And in order to get, new employees, you have to pay. Otherwise, you lose them to a competitor. So I know exactly my point. So new hires are making anywhere from 7 to 20% more than the people that have already been there. They're overvaluing experience that's learned somewhere else. And they have a zero concept, in my opinion, as an organization of what onboarding costs versus losing a tenured employee. Performance is no longer valued in the workforce. And the message that you send to your employees is very negative, reduces morale, and it's like you don't care. So instead of ranting about it, I'm going to give some suggestions to some organizations and businesses out there that establish pay guidelines, review them regularly so that you stay competitive, take care of your people that have taken care of you, reward performance, communicate or communication that has action. Don't just say people are great at what they do, and then you go hire somebody that makes $10,000 more a year than them. Appreciate who you are, who you have, and the fact that they're reliable and loyal, have a work ethic, because they're going to reward you greater than any new hire that you bring in. But today it seems like job hopping is the way to go in certain industries. So anyways, it's a longer than a minute monologue, but it's bullshit that people that are loyal to you as an organization, you no longer are loyal to them. And it's got to be more than about money sometimes. So take care of your people. That's my rant.
Wow, that was really good. Wait a second. Okay, I better now. I was crying a little.
You suck.
Well, no, I was thinking about that, and I think the Wizard's going to have to agree with me on this. Like, take care of your people. Like, that whole monologue was spectacular, and I'm so freaking hungry. I still haven't had any of my 6 dinners. Anyway. Take care of your people, you freaking hypocrite. Oh, my God. The Wizard and we talked about this last week, 155 text messages over 32 minutes caring about Mags. And
yes.
Nothing. Take care of your people.
You know what? I should throw
some new hires. Do you have some new assistant coach or like 2 other new friends in the coaching world that you like go to dinner with and skip out on us?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure.
2020. That's all I'm going to say. 2020.
Apparently, we're not one of the new hires. We're the old school.
Yeah, we're the old school.
There was some words in there I didn't even understand, like suppression and stuff like that.
Compression.
It was compression?
Yes, not suppression.
But
all right. So we're going to shorten this podcast down, and we just did 22 minutes on fiscal responsibility. Can we move on to like something in the sports world?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought, that was a good segue from Thomas Edison to today's marketplace.
Wow, wait until you get to the GOAT debate. We're going to get into John Jay and Madison and Hamilton for me. But wow, we're going old school today. Old school. Hey, can we talk about, I know we're not doing the official broadcast, but now that we're in the new day where like I get up in the morning and I look at Instagram and there's reels on and they show, because you talked about this last week, Mags, about Caitlin Clark and how they're like beating the hell out of her and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
And then I watch the Caitlin Clark moves, and oh my God, did she have one of the most amazing jump shots the other day. She comes down, dribbles hard right, between her legs left, picks up the ball, takes 2 steps, jump stops, and then steps again and then shoots. And it was brilliant. And they're like, and
fundamentals.
Fundamentals, right? And then I look at I watched the 38-second reel and I was like, okay, I'm bored of that. I got to move on to something else. And then I click on the little thing and it has all the comments, right? And there's 2,235 comments, and 4 of them mentioned the travel.
Yeah. Well,
we're not doing an officiating broadcast today.
Nope.
We're going to move on to some other things, but can we just for 1 second talk about the gather step and the step back?
Well, especially when you do them together.
Well, I mean, it's legal now, but like in the pros, right? Like we get that, right? Like LeBron's allowed to take 7 steps. I watched this one highlight of Giannis coming down the floor and the gather step because the ball's spinning in his hands. and he takes, I'm not kidding, 7 steps. But Caitlin Clark on the gather and the step back. Remember, I'm an official for some of those out there that don't believe that we actually have an official on the podcast. She took 6 steps. How, as a coach nowadays, Mags, are you supposed to teach this stuff?
Well, I think obviously that hasn't come down the pipe to the high school level.
It has.
Well, it has to a certain extent. It all depends. And again, we're not going to make this about officials today because we're going to save that for a longer broadcast. But, good officials still call the game the way that they're supposed to call the game. But I love it when a kid takes 11 steps with one dribble and then, palms up at the officials like, oh, that was a travel? Like, yeah, like 4 of them actually. If he would have blown his whistle 4 times, do we get 4 violations? It's amazing. They see it like you just said. They watch it on Instagram, they watch it on TV, and then they try to emulate it in our game. And then they were like, well, wait a second. Like, I just watched that, and Caitlin Clark did it, or LeBron James did it. I must be able to do it. So,
Yeah.
Get anything, Wizard?
I mean, we talked about this and it before, and you have, again, like you said, some officials that are there and care about the game, care about doing a good job, and then you have some that really just don't give a shit and there to collect a check, however meager it is in the state of New Hampshire. So I think, like I said, fundamentals, if you don't call the game where you're watching the fundamentals, kids don't learn nothing. So
agree.
Double negative. I didn't learn anything either in school.
That's probably a travel too.
Yeah, at least one.
Well, the reason I ask if we're actually going to talk a little bit about like practices and stuff like that is that you watch the NBA game and it's becoming a joke, and you go back and you watch some of the old school players who would have been called for the travel because back then they cared. And everything that we do, it seems like in officiating, we do to make the game more offensive. And and it's becoming more offensive, but in the not scoring more points way. And I'm trying to understand why we took a game that's just as beautiful as it is, and we keep trying to make it easier for the offense, harder for the defense, and we're not scoring more.
Yeah.
I think you're posing that question to the wrong 2 people here.
Well, I'm posing. No, I know you're right, but we're all old school coaches, even you, Mags, and I'm not sure what we're supposed to do at the high school level when, then you get the bleacher creatures screaming at these poor officials because they called a spin dribble a travel, which it is.
Right. But realistically, I think some of this behavior became learned once they got into these further along in their careers, into college and things like that. I think it's a learned behavior because realistically, I'm sure we all have instances where we can say, well, this happened in front of me at the high school level. But I mean, all the officials that I've ever had, they would have called a travel on her. I mean, haven't really can bring up anybody that wouldn't have called that a travel. So.
Yeah, I think you're right, Wizard. It's more my worry is that it keeps coming down, like we've talked about a bunch of times about how, all of these rules come down to us at that lower level. And because of what Caitlin Clark does, we're going to start seeing that more likely become legal. Like a step back where you don't have to land simultaneously on both feet. You can land left, right. That's 3 steps. But we definitely don't call that at the high school level anymore. We're actually told to avoid calling that. No, we are.
Yeah.
I mean, I stopped officiating 6 years ago, but there was a lot of debate on how close simultaneous was. And I'm thinking in my mind, simultaneous is simultaneous.
Yeah. Or the step through off 1 foot onto 2 and they don't come down simultaneously, and then the right official blows the whistle and calls a travel, and the kid's like, what do you mean?
Right.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Wizard, do you have something more to put in on that?
Well, I'm just going to say that I know in my time coaching, I never taught any of that extra footstep garbage. It was be clean coming up off the floor, take the appropriate amount of steps that you're allowed. And, so I don't know. I don't think it's a coaching thing. I think it's more along the lines of a learned behavior that wasn't corrected. So
Shoot past dribble.
shoot past dribble, baby.
Wait. Isn't there anything more, since we're going to talk maybe about a little practice plan for a second here? Shoot, pass, dribble. What's the other one that you guys forget all the time?
Oh, we don't forget it. We play it. It's called defense.
Oh, all right. I just didn't know.
You just don't acknowledge a good zone defense as defense. That's all. You fixated on man-to-man only, and that's the only thing kids should play. And but just got to work with what you got.
Yeah, no, you're right. All right, so we've
You've admitted I'm right like twice in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Something's wrong.
It's in the middle of the summer. I'm too tired.
It's the Canadian smoke.
Something's wrong with the Matrix.
Yeah. I don't know what they're burning for trees up in Canada, but it's coming down here, and I'm in a haze today.
Literally.
Well, living where you live, I can understand.
Yeah.
So,
purple haze.
So we're going to go down the practice rabbit hole?
Well, we might as well. You don't have anything else to talk about unless we're going to just do our goat debate and call it quits.
No. I think our listeners have asked a few times, at least off the air, and our thoughts on practices and how we set up practice and so forth. So yeah, let's do it.
Well, yeah, but let's be a little bit more specific this time.
Okay.
We do have young coaches out there.
Yeah.
That want to know what 3 geniuses of coaching, or at least 2.5 geniuses of coaching, do.
Yeah. I can't believe that you took the Wizard out of that. And counted him as a half.
I know I'm one of the halves.
I'm a half-wit.
Yeah. All right. Well, so let's go down that yellow brick road and let's see what we got. So when we get into practice, and I think the one for young coaches that is most important is not like what you're going to do for game prep. That kind of differs and everything. We can get into that. But what do you do to start your season? Like, you get, for the Wizard and for me, we get like 9 kids that come in total. But for you, like where you got 30 or 40 kids coming in for tryouts, like what do you do for preseason and then like your first 2 weeks of practice, Max?
I mean, I've just always just rolled the ball out and just let them scrimmage. And that's it. Like that's the whole practice plan every day. See what happens. No. You guys are nuts. So I don't care really what part of the year that it is, but so if we're looking at the first few weeks of the season, you usually I'll have a plan in place of like what I want whether it's defensive schemes, offensive sets, whatever, before the first scrimmage, so that we're going into that scrimmage working on a couple different things. And we don't change things much year to year. Yeah, we throw a wrinkle here or there. But we probably spend anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes a day on fundamental stuff, whether it's, footwork, whether it's, shot fakes, shooting in general, finishing around the basket, running the floor with spacing. I don't want to say simple things like that, but I see, teams and kids, no offense to them, that they can't play without traveling. And I always wonder, like, how much time do they spend at practice on that? I've always felt, and my assistant coaches have been extremely supportive of that philosophy, that back to what the Wizard said, if you can't shoot past dribble, the game is a lot more difficult. But if you don't work at it and you don't make it part of your daily routine, then you just expect kids. I had a former AD, one of his greatest lines is, when you think they know, they have no idea, and you have to walk them through everything. And he was right. Sometimes that coaching a game and the kid will do something and you'll say, like, why did they do that? And then they didn't have a clue why they did that, and they didn't understand the ramifications, or they didn't have the IQ part of it down. So anyways, I don't want to ramble, but that's really it. Fundamentals, and then establishing what I want at a specific point in the preseason, and then build off from that.
Right. It's funny because I mean, we had the one gym, and that was it. And you're allotted so much time in the evening for practices and things like that, because you share it with everything from town politics to band and chorus and all of that. So it's important that you make take the best advantage of your time allotted to you. So everything was always scripted as far as time, from a water break to whatever, you get whatever amount of time, and everything was always on the clock when we did it. So, typically we started out, we did form shooting, under the basket. You get there, and there was, like, I don't know, 3 minutes or so for that. And then we went to something a little more advanced, whether it be dribble drills or, fast dribble, speed dribble, 2-ball dribble, things of that nature. Then we also incorporate a passing, dribble or bounce pass when you were dribbling, when you finished out. And then, it was all the things kind of as I went along. I moved more and more away from just flat out sprints, more of a punitive action for some of our, like, layup drills or fast break drill. Everything there was a score and there was a time. And then typically after whatever they did their punitive for not making their time or making their score, we worked on game prep and full court scrimmaging when we had enough people. So, I mean, like I said, everything was timed, and we took advantage of the time that we had allotted to us for practice.
Yeah, I think that's the key. You're given like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours in the early part of the year when don't have all the young kids in. And I don't want to criticize younger coaches or coaches that are just starting out, but I've been to too many practices, especially at a middle school or elementary school practice time, where, you're sitting with the kids at half court discussing a play, or you're watching a kid do a drill and then the next kid comes on and does the drill. Get some assistant coaches, use your time wisely, use all the hoops that you have in your gym. For the poor wizard, it might just be 2. For Mags, it's like 12 or 14 between the 2 gyms. But get the kids as many touches as you possibly can, and fundamental touches. And don't worry about, remember, we always used to, what was it, always the first Friday that we would have the jamboree, or first Saturday, right?
First Saturday, yeah.
First Saturday. So you've got 5 practices in. Some of those first practices are deciding who's on JV or varsity if you have both teams. And you're all of a sudden going to go down and we're going to play, you guys. And obviously in the regular season, those are going to be big games. Don't worry about your preseason games. Don't even worry about your regular season games if you don't have the fundamentals done.
Right.
My practice plan was always, we're going to do these things for the first, 2 weeks. We're going to get in shape, but we're going to do it with a ball in our hands. Old school, right? Like 20-something years ago, it's like, all right, we're going to run. If you're a coach that's just going to come in and run the kids, at least put a basketball in their hands.
Absolutely.
Have them doing something other than just running. It's not track and field. It's basketball.
Yeah.
So my big one is take the best you can of that limited time that you have, because in season it can get down to like an hour and 15 sometimes, and you got to make the most of it.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, we only have one gym, and similar to you guys, we do have to share it with multiple sports. So we don't have 2 monstrosities that we practice.
Do you have a second gym?
We do not. We got a middle school gym. I wouldn't call that a second gym. It's like 5,000 square feet total, wall to wall. So
Like
it's
bigger
actually
than
kind of
our
playing,
gym.
in the Wizards gym.
I was gonna say bigger than both of our gyms.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So, we kind of all talked about it, but like one thing that I would encourage, any coach at any level, I don't care if you're a parent filling in or not filling in, but coaching for one season in third and fourth grade, God bless you that you can do that, at that level. But have a plan. We talked about practice plans. Well, come
Right.
prepared. I'm probably more meticulous than necessary, but like everything is timed out. But always have enough on the practice plan that if something doesn't work, and I think I've done this long enough now, you try to put a new drill in and the kids aren't getting it, like you scrap it, you move on, you come back to that another day. But have something planned out. I think even the most experienced coaches, they don't walk in the gym and just rely on memory alone. They put things together and put it on paper. We type up our practices, just so that they're there. I post them for the kids to see when they come in the gym, so they know what's on the agenda for the day. But do your part. Be committed to it, and part of that is preparing yourself and having a plan in place so that practice is valuable. And you guys that give water breaks, now bring water bottles, take a drink when you need a drink, but we're not stopping practice. We only got an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours in the early part of the year. We don't have time to go get water. You can bring water with you in the gym.
Yeah.
Anything to add to that, Wizard?
No, I mean, same. We put stuff on paper. In actuality, I had all of my practices still, and actually just recently got rid of them.
Oh, those
Written
could have
down.
gone to the Historical Society.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mags,
no, I mean, same thing. Like I said, you write it down and you keep it, and so, a lot of times I kept attendance of, who's there, especially if there was a problem developing. If you had somebody who was habitually missing, I would make sure that I took note of that, only
Absolutely.
because of things in the future. Pretty much, I never had a problem with that stuff. So
yeah, and you guys both write stuff down. So do I. And my practices are split into 4-minute segments. Sometimes we're going to use 2 of those segments in a row to work on something that needs a little bit more. But I think you said, Mags, about, you're putting in a new drill and don't get bogged down on it. It's the same thing on day 1 of practice or day 2 of practice. Your whatever drill you're running isn't gonna go great all the time, especially when you're like for the Wizard, when you got third graders stepping on the court for the first time. You gotta let it work, but don't spend 22 minutes on a 3-man weave that they're just not getting. If it's in your plan for 2 minutes, do it for 2 minutes and move on. Getting bogged down as a coach means you've lost 20 minutes of your practice, and you just can't afford to do that.
yeah,
Yeah. And I think as coaches, you just get frustrated too, because it's simple to us. Like, not simple that the kids actually understand what we're saying most of the time, but we see it as a simple drill. And we got to remember, these kids are seeing it for the first time, and we might have done this, I don't know, 5 years ago. We might have done this drill 5 years ago with a group that was much more experienced. And, one thing that I've always relied on, and I think you guys would too, is the upperclassmen really lead the drills. They go to the front of the lines when we're doing stuff that, especially things that they've done before. But even if they haven't done it before, those are the kids that you want, demonstrating it. Because, the terminology, hopefully, that you're implementing or putting in the drill, those kids have heard, and maybe the underclassmen, have heard it, but not to the same extent. And so, yeah, I rely heavily on upperclassmen to get through drills or to demonstrate things at times. So that's a point of suggestion to younger coaches. Have your experienced kids. That's not putting them on a pedestal. That's just using your resources to the best of your advantage.
We're already at 28 minutes, so we can always continue this conversation a little bit later. The other question I've been asked, and we'll wrap up practices this time on this question for you guys, is do you have captains? How are they picked? And what do you expect of them? We'll make this a quick one. No 4-minute monologue here,
Yeah,
Matt.
yes. I have captains, whether it be one or two, maybe sometimes even three. It depends on the type of person they are. You want somebody who's a good communicator with you as well as with their teammates, and utilize them as more and more communication became involved. I would have the captains and communicate with them, but also to my coaches, so that when you send a message in the group, your coaches get the same message that the captains get, so that there's no misunderstandings.
Do you vote on them or do you pick them?
No, I pick them. I picked them. Yeah, talk with the coaches and that thing. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily a popularity contest because it's all in all, it comes down to it. It's a dictatorship. It's not a democracy.
What do you got? What do you got, Mags?
Oh, I didn't know we were going to mess up the order. We have captains every year. I would say we pick them. We usually consider picking them at the end of the previous season, so that when we go into summer, those captains have been chosen. Sometimes not. One of the things that we've always looked for in a captain is obviously they're an extension of you. They have to be a positive role model. They have to lead by.
Wait a second.
What?
They're an extension of you and they're a positive role model? Is this the good Lord walking onto your court or what?
See, here we go. Now, after 2 compliments in this podcast about being right, now we're going to,
destroyer of self-esteem himself.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to finish the podcast. I'm too distraught.
All right. Suck it up and move on. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I'll fight through it. But kids that you want to lead by example, not just on the court, but off the court, we've always felt that that's important. We'll have a captain's meeting usually first week of the season, because kids talk to kids. Kids don't always talk to coaches about like what's going on, what they might be understanding or not understanding. And then similar to the Wizard, we have a communication app that we use, and it's got the coaches and the captains in it. So, we relay messages through them. They relay it to the rest of the team. We have conversations with just the captains that it's not privy to the other players. We pick them because, as the Wizard said, it's not a popularity contest.
The reason I ask that is I see a lot of coaches do the vote for captain, and I'm thinking to myself, if that's the way you're going to go, you're going to have to vote on everything that you do, and then that's usually going to be parental input too. So yeah, it's your decision. You can pretend that it's a vote if you want. I remember the first year I coached, I was like, yep, you guys all get a vote, and then afterwards I was like, and I get 12. But captains are important. They are your extension of you, and unfortunately for me, I've never found any smart enough, but they do a good job. And I think with the captains,
wow,
for us, that we always have a captain that's a senior and then a captain that's a junior. And so that following year, that junior captain is a senior, and then we get one. And what I like most about that is it usually pisses off that other really good senior you've got. So we do 2-year captains so that, like Mags had said, he does it the previous season, or you do it at the end, at the conclusion of the season, you name your captains. That way you've got somebody over the summer to be involved.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. After you have your end of season meeting, you excuse the team, but you keep the people that you're going to utilize more than likely after and talk to them. And basically you're telling them that, this is the team that you're bringing into next year. So are you ready for this? Are you prepared? Blah, 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 things like that.
No,
And I think, oh, go ahead, Max.
oh no, I'm just gonna say, like you talked about the none of the players you haven't found that are smart as you. Like, how the hell do you deal with us two? Because we're nowhere near your level of knowledge.
Yeah, but if you combine the two, I think that's why we do well together. If you combine the two of you guys, then
Yeah.
it's almost like equal, and it's good.
I'm pretty sure my noggin is a little bit bigger than yours, but I don't know how you got so much more information in yours.
It's just what you process through. It's like you're still running an old Mac, one of those little stand on your desk ones at 12 gigs of memory or whatever.
No, I'm running a Commodore 64.
The old 64. Nice.
Oh, I was still using the Etch-a-Sketch.
Oh God, don't get me going on that.
Oh, the kids will be looking that up. Our younger generation, Etch-a-Sketch. What's that?
What a brutal thing that thing was. Remember trying to make anything that looked like a rounded edge,
Screw that. Yeah.
Wait, there we go. We're not going to keep going. I have more things to say about practice and captains and all that kind of stuff. We're going to move right on because that brings us back into the Wizards' very, very unusual GOAT debate. I think, depending upon where we're going with this, I think that there wasn't even an Etch-a-Sketch then.
No, there was not.
Although
No,
I'm gonna mess with you, Wizard. My pick is gonna have the ability to use an Etch-a-Sketch. But go ahead.
So, in all of our discussions in talking of historical facts and things of that nature, I came across a book that I had read a while back in I don't know, somewhere in all my clutter, and the name of the book is Once They Rode Like the Wind, and it's about great Indian chiefs of our history. And so I thought, well, what better to have a greatest Indian chief of all time? So if you would like me to begin, I will begin because I've only got one name.
Okay.
And not going to do the top three because there were a lot of names. I mean, there are a lot of people who were named because of Indian wars and things of that nature. My Indian chief may or may not have been a fictional person, but it's historically not established, but legend says that Hiawatha started the Cherokee Nation, was one of the co-founders of the Cherokee Nation, which is a large, very large group of Indians and had a great deal of influence on our early history. So Hiawatha, look them up. I ain't even going to tell you how to spell it.
Because you can't.
That's true.
So that's mine.
Is it me, Megs?
Yeah.
So all of the kids that are listening today and all of the, the people of not of our generation or definitely not of our lack of care, are going, it's Native American. It's Native American. So when he posed this one, I thought of great chiefs, and of course we had Robert Parrish who played for the.
Oh, that was mine. You just ruined my thunder.
Oh no, I didn't mean to ruin it. And
no,
then,
it's
of course,
okay.
one of my very favorite movies is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Chief in there is just one great character. But I actually, after thinking about that, because I'm not Mags, decided to take this seriously, and I'm going to do a monologue right here before I give you mine, and I am very proud of being a part of my country and our community, and it's really important to me to say that before I'm about to say what I am going to say. I just finished reading the Federalist Papers, which is written by Madison, Jay, and Adams, and it's about the founding of our country. And you have to realize that our country was founded on the backs of slaves in a country taking away the rights of an other entire species of people. It's really brutal. And so my pick is going to be a modern pick for a Native American, and her name is Wilma Mankiller. And that's really her name. And she was the first woman head of the Cherokee Nation, and she died in 2010. She has her face on a coin. She was given the Presidential Medal Medal of Honor. And I think the hardest thing was trying to figure out how to survive in a nation that doesn't care about you in a modern time. So my pick is Wilma Mankiller.
Yeah, you stole my thunder because I was going to be like the only chief that this moron knows is Robert Parrish. So wasn't going to be my pick. But like every other GOAT debate, I do take it seriously. Yes. I wanted to pick Tonto, but the Wizard correctly informed me that was not a chief, and I was just joking. But anyways, so I read up some stuff. Of course, the internet never lies. And there was one chief that I'll pick, and it was basically had something to do with the Wallowa band of the Nez Perce.
Oh, okay. I know.
Yeah, you know where I'm going? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's Chief Joseph, because I can actually pronounce the name, so we're gonna go with it. I mean, I was, Sitting Bull was on there.
Oh, I knew you were gonna go there. You warlike.
I wasn't going. I just said that those are the names that I had written down.
Well, the only problem was he thought it was Shitting Bull, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I can get that one."
But the Chief Joseph was famous for leading his people on this, I forget, I think it was 17 or 1800 mile trek, hiding or evading the U.S. Army. So that was my historical knowledge. And I went, man, 1700 miles back in the 1800s was probably a long ways, further than it is today.
Yeah, that was real miles back then.
It was all shoe leather express back then, or horse and buggy, as you know.
We got a whole lot of young listeners going, wait, was the mile longer back then?
Yeah. I mean, that's like what weighs more, like a ton of cement or a ton of feathers,
Right. Oh, man, now we're going to start doing, trivia at the end.
No, we're not going to do that. But all right, so those were our picks, and I appreciate the Wizards, taking it away from sports. He asked for it doesn't have to be about sports. We're like, hell no. Like, that's what's fun about this podcast. We can go in any direction, Maybe next week mine will be like the best breaststroke in swimming,
Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah, no, let's, when we go with the greatest Native American chief, and I'm already going, oh man, what are we going to get for response on this? Can we avoid the breaststroke, please?
Yeah, we'll do our best. I'm sure there's nothing to research on that.
Yeah. I want to say for the Wizards GOAT debate pick, I was gone. I got it. I wasn't able to really jump back in and, throw our normal feedback back. But the one thing you have to know about the Wizard, and the one thing you have to know about coaches in general, is that our job is to try to provide, first, a level of discomfort, and second, a level of education. And at first, when he sent the thing, I almost texted back, give me a freaking break. And then I was like, no, that's actually a pretty good debate. It's not necessarily what our listeners are expecting, but just go spend 20 or 30 minutes this afternoon and just research Native American tribes and what they've gone through and what their leaders have to do then and now. It's pretty cool.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, because I don't think they're allowed to teach it in class anymore. So you probably can't talk about, Indian tribes, or, as you correctly said, in today's society, Native American tribes. But yeah, the history is pretty remarkable. So thank you to the Wizard for educating our youth again.
Yeah.
And even us.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, man. When I was doing that, I was like, man, I do sort of remember some of those names from a couple years ago.
A couple years ago.
Yeah. But after this podcast, actually, I don't want to start to close the podcast because we got to get the Wizards words of wisdom for the week in, so that doesn't get cut off.
Yeah. Well, I can remember seeing don't eat yellow snow is, I think, the first podcast. I don't remember if that was correct or not. Um, in the world of being a grandparent, I can honestly tell you that the 10-second rule goes out the door, because once you see these little fiends running around and what they do as far as never washing their hands or knowing even what a bar of soap is unless it's by force, the 10-second rule is eliminated.
I wouldn't know anything about that, so thanks for sharing.
And I'm going to end mine with a classic Native American term. It's called Skoden. And that's let's go then.
Oh, I thought it was Snowden. No?
No, that was the
yeah, I know. All right. Well, as always, thanks for listening to this week's episode of Coaches and Coffee. Hopefully the sign off works, but if not,